all one thing. All one thing, and it will come automatically if you trust that following your joy at every given moment is in fact what you need to do. But that's up to you. I would never tell you that you must.
Welcome, everybody. This is the podcast of Earth with your host, Skyra of Earth. And as you can see, we are out here in the wild, aka Baltimore. This is my hometown. This is where I grew up, and I actually feel like this is a really great setting. I love how it feels back here. And yeah, we're sitting with a very interesting person. A very interesting person in my life, indeed. But an interesting person on Earth. And I'm going to feel the need to interview people who I feel are really interesting, people who I feel understand who they are on this planet, have a level of awareness where they're actually aware of the actions that they're taking, the thoughts that they're thinking, and trying to unpack and unpick their minds. And so without further ado, I want to ask, who are you?
Well, first off, thank you for having me.
And get a little closer to the mic.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's an amazing opportunity to be able to spread light with someone that you were in the dark with.
Wow.
Starting
early, y'all.
Now, real talk. I think that everyone deserves that one person that sees all sides of them and is able to communicate with that person and walk and talk through just all of the ups and downs that come with this life.
Yeah.
And I think that where we are now, you and I, we're at a place where we can really, really impact and help people. So all of that being said, I'm Kyle Yearwood, a.k.a. the Architect of Realities, a.k.a. Illformative. I am a visual artist. I also make music, and I'm a speaker. I am a healer. I am a self-love advocate. I am a self-empowerment advocate. And I'm just here to express myself and encourage people to love themselves, believe in themselves, and heal themselves. That's who I am.
So I want to highlight something you said. And it was, everyone deserves to have someone who sees all sides of them.
Yes.
And I just want to just make a statement on that for a second. I feel like my life on Earth has been very, it's been comforted in the best way possible by your presence. I think that as a man on this planet, I feel like we all, just people. We need people to talk to. We need someone who is going to be unconditional about who they are, actually listen and understand. And then that's who you are. You're a stand-up guy, and I actually wrote this in my notes. And I wanted to really talk about that because being a stand-up person in general is not common. It's actually uncommon, especially where we're from. And to have someone that you can call on that is reliable, trustworthy, intelligent, understanding, it is gold. It actually, to me, is more valuable than money. And that's who you are. And honestly, that's a part of the reason why you're here. You are an architect of realities. You are so many things, but you're a stand-up guy. And
Thank you.
I'm gonna keep saying that because that shit is hella important. So yeah, like I said, and like Kyle is alluding to, we both grew up here in Baltimore, Maryland. And I guess I want to just now get, what was life growing up for you here? Exactly.
Life growing up for me here, if we want to hop right into if I was a main character of a book, my story starts with the trauma of not being confident in myself,
Okay.
not feeling aligned to a certain personality or identity, always being molded by my environment.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're not in the best environment, that isn't always good.
Yeah.
I think my home life was great. The way my mom raised me
Mm-hmm.
was perfect. But in terms of what I was influenced by in my surroundings wasn't really anything that made me feel good about me.
Mm.
That made me feel important and powerful, or that I could do anything.
Mm.
My role models was rappers,
Same.
was basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
And that's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
But when you grow up adoring Lil Wayne,
Right.
you admire everything about Lil
You
Wayne.
idolize Lil Wayne. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
All aspects, like you said.
all aspects.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you don't have a grip on who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's, as a child, it's a little bit more than music. It's a little bit more than music videos. It's a little bit more than, oh, they have a fancy car,
Yeah.
or they have pretty girls.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that is what I'm supposed to aspire to.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm supposed to be.
Yes. And I think that a lot of Baltimore, especially in the past, we glorified the hood. We glorify the trap. We glorify just being hood famous and hood rich.
Mm-hmm.
And
Being known.
yes, yes. And that's not as bad as actually being in the trenches, but as a black boy, influence is everything.
Yeah.
Role models is everything,
Yeah.
because we don't have people. We ain't got Martin Luther King on the news.
Right.
We don't have
Or walking around the corner.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have that type of influence. So when we talk about Baltimore and my life growing up in it, it was just being influenced by things that didn't lead me back to me all the way. But I enjoyed it. I had fun.
Yeah.
I made some great friends, and I wish I would have believed in myself more. I wish I would have believed that I could be creative.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have really, really empowered me.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more than just, oh, I can learn how to play piano or
Right.
learn how to draw.
Mhm.
More than just learning, just know you can be an artist.
You can be a pianist.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh yeah, I can take classes. My mom put me in baseball, basketball, golf, soccer, piano, drums, all of these things. But I never thought that, I could be something great.
Yeah. Environment is everything.
Yeah.
Environment is everything. I feel like people try to shortchange that, but especially growing up as a child, everything that you see, everything that's said to you, everything that you hear, everything that you touch, you become it. And that's why having a sense of awareness at an earlier age is vital. And that's not something as a brown indigenous man we get to experience. We don't get to grow up knowing that we can do things.
Yes.
How simple does that sound? That I can do things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I grew up feeling like I had to work to do things.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's like I didn't feel a sense of opportunity. But simultaneously, that being the catapult to opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your younger life. Now, how was teenage, and how did, let me ask this, how did growing up not feeling confident affect your relationship with women?
Yeah, so going into teenage, young adult years, honestly,
And also, real quick,
yeah.
how did growing up listening to Lil Wayne also affect your relationship with him?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Lil Wayne was my idol for sure.
Mhm.
But reaching teenage and young adult years, I had this naive perception that I knew what love was, and I knew how to act appropriately
Right.
in a relationship.
Mind you, this is based off of nothing because
Exactly.
because you grew up with all these influences of who you should be. So this person that's trying to find love isn't even solid. But go ahead.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. You know, my parents, I thought my parents loved each other, but you know, my father didn't live in the same house as us.
Okay.
So there was a little bit of confusion there and being unconscious of what was really going on in my own,
Okay.
you know, household. That
Yeah.
definitely affected me. But just in general, during that time period, the rappers and everyone promoted what they call money over
Mm-hmm.
women.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Right. And
Money-
that was a big thing. I said that a lot on my social media feed.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the B word,
Yeah.
but money over women.
Mm-hmm.
That was the motto. And you know, of course, that's
Motto I follow. Take
Yeah.
that to the grave. Huh?
that's still what some rappers promote to this day, but I think unconsciously I didn't want to be alone, and I always yearned for a relationship and yearned for a feminine energy to be around me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think next to that was this ego.
Yes.
Next to that was this influence that, yeah, you got her, but that doesn't mean that you have to treat her right, because the people that you call your friends, that doesn't earn their respect.
Right. And that's very important. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think also too, just still not really having full self-confidence and self-knowledge
Mhm.
and self-awareness,
Mhm.
I allowed myself to just take whatever relationship
Mm-hmm.
was available to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I regret any relationship or anything like that. It's just about I definitely had to learn how to treat myself well,
Right.
how to love myself
Mhm.
before I could ever really understand what someone else should be doing for me.
Yeah.
So that was definitely my experience. Just not no real respect for the
Yeah.
divine feminine.
Yeah.
That's all I can say now is divine feminine. Like
Mhm.
y'all, women are divine. Women
Mhm.
are powerful. Women are important.
Mhm.
Women are the creators.
Mhm.
Like, I have so much love, respect, admiration, support for them now, and it's just like I had to go from money over women to that. So
Yeah.
that was my journey.
Yeah, and it is really women being inferior is a concept that is implemented in everything.
Yes.
But especially rap music, and I hate to point out Lil Wayne because that's my guy. Still listen to him to this day. But even my fiance said, you know, I don't know, do you want to play Lil Wayne for soul? And I'm like, yeah, that's something to think about because I love him. I grew up on him, but that doesn't mean that he had values that I would like to implement in my son. So what does that say about who I was when I was a child? And I agree with you. I grew up listening to Lil Wayne, loving Lil Wayne, and not just Wayne, just rappers in general. It's a very common thing to look at women as if they're sex objects, you know, pieces of meat, toys, things to play with. And I just think that it's time to be real about this kind of shit because we can still have rap. You know, we can still, you know, dance off and we can still, you know, rock off to the shit, but there's an evolution of music that we don't even know can happen.
Exactly.
Because we just, and we're not talking about, you know, spiritual rap and, you know, okay, people gonna make that always, but if you don't attempt to find clarity within yourself about the divine feminine, then you will never know what respecting it on an artistic level will bring, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I definitely just wanted to make sure I brought that up in this interview because having respect for women needs to be at the forefront, and I'm gonna keep saying that. And I think, and why do you feel like it's corny? Why do you feel like it's corny to not only have respect for women, but have feelings, because it's like intertwined. It's like, you respecting and having the utmost love for your woman. What you would have to have that for yourself, and you'd have to have a base of emotions, or a base of femininity, or a base of just emotions. And so, why do you feel like it's looked at that way? In I don't want to say our community. I want to say amongst men.
It's a couple of things I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
We all have choice,
Mm-hmm.
but when you're influenced, your decisions are influenced.
Yes, absolutely. and when you're not sitting in the seat of choice.
Yes.
There's none to be made.
Exactly. Being a boy, being a man, being a black boy, being a black man.
Mm-hmm.
We grow up wanting to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say cool, you automatically think that there is no emotion
Right.
that goes too deep for
Yeah.
that person.
Mm-hmm.
They don't let
They
anything.
too cool. Yeah, right.
Exactly. They don't let anything take them from just being this laid back person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as young men, we always strive to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to ever let anyone see us knee deep in our emotions,
Yeah.
or have our heart on our sleeves,
Yeah.
because that is perceived to be vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable,
Sorry, y'all. We out here with these flies. But yeah, when you're vulnerable.
when you're vulnerable, it's you have a different experience when you grow up here.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are a young black boy.
Mm-hmm.
When you're vulnerable, you're gonna get tested.
Yeah.
You really are gonna get tested. Look, we don't gotta go down what goes down out here. We don't gotta go down that route.
Yeah.
Especially just being in public school. That story exists everywhere.
Yeah.
But we're just talking about
Being softer than other kids. Yeah. Softer.
right. So yeah, that I was just like every other
Mm-hmm.
young black boy who had that fear of being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Now, how did I get past that? How did I get beyond that?
Mm-hmm.
When you realize that you are lonely because you never really opened up and let yourself be vulnerable to anyone, you realize that the key and answer to your loneliness is to let go of that.
Yeah.
And that was me.
Mm-hmm.
I've always longed for partnership. I've always longed for real, true friendships.
Same.
And you just reach a point where it's just like all of those friends that you've built up just playing a part, just acting like you're a part of the clique and the crew and crowd. Those friends aren't really the friends that you need and want.
Yeah.
Or you really just haven't really connected with them because they don't know you.
Yeah.
They haven't seen you. They haven't felt you all the way.
A bunch of friends not knowing
Yes.
themselves and each other, but hanging around with similar interest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is pretty much everybody.
Yes.
At a young age, definitely.
You and I are definitely true friends, and we've had some true friends, and I think that in general we've been around a lot of people that wanted to see us do well, but when it comes to trauma, when it comes to healing, when it comes to transformation, when it's time for you to stop being like how you was, when we were in middle school, high school, and it's time for you to become someone new so that you can take care of yourself and take care of your family and reach new levels and get new opportunities.
Yeah.
Those friends that still want to hold you at that same place,
Yeah.
you won't have to go through that now.
I just talked about this. I swear to God, I did. Yeah, I think some people see you for where you were.
Yes.
You can't be yourself around them.
Yes.
And now it's like it's a weird relationship. It's a weird relationship based off of. I was talking to a friend. He said it's like code switching.
Yes.
It's like you get around certain friends and you bring out a certain version of yourself. And
Yes.
it's like, and it's up to you.
Yes.
It really is. It's like, that's why I love awareness.
Yes.
Awareness is important because you move based off of what you feel and you know the consequences of your actions. So I feel like some people have friends where we go run together, but you wouldn't talk with those running friends, but you won't talk politics. You wouldn't talk
Yes.
about nature because they don't give a fuck about that. And then you have these friends who talk, so I feel it's definitely part of the journey to truly become yourself and then realize where you want to be and where you fit and where other people fit within that.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
if we can go back to the divine feminine,
Mm-hmm.
can we just talk about how if you're not in that state of awareness and you embrace
Mm-hmm.
your true intentions,
Mm-hmm.
almost every situation in communication and interaction and engagement with the opposite sex, you're as a young black boy and a young man, I found myself always positioning myself in order to get something
Yes.
from women.
Because we had no concept of love,
Yes.
true love, no concept of catering an emotion, and it was the concept of you have something that I want,
Yes.
and so and you're vulnerable also, and you seem to like being this way, and so I'm just going to continue to align myself and manipulate myself in the situation so I can get what I want, and if you get what you want, okay. But that wasn't the focus. And when you don't have that awareness, you won't find love. You'll always be outside of love
Yes.
because love is not inside of you. You have not aligned with rather the love inside of you.
Yes.
And yeah, so you do live a life of loneliness and circling all the way back. And so you realize that to not be that lonely being, you have to
Yes.
find love. I love this conversation, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. When all you do is take,
Mm-hmm.
everyone can see how empty you are. When all you do is give, abundance,
Full.
power, everything that we yearn for as men,
Mm-hmm.
the respect,
Mm-hmm.
the admiration, the love, the support, the things that our ego loves as men.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get that by manipulating and taking and finessing, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone wants to be a finesser.
Right.
No one wants to give and actually just really be the plug
Yeah.
that turns everyone on.
Or the source, rather.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The source.
Yeah. And that's what I've always admired about you. I feel like even in days where I feel like I was manipulative, and I'm sure you maybe had those ways about you too, I still felt like you were benevolent. I still felt like you had a level head on your shoulders, and I could I could always rely on you to be that, that level head. And again, circling all the way back, how important that is to have someone in your corner that is that way, and you don't have to worry about having someone in your corner that way if you were that way.
In general, we are all here to give.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that your purpose is not about you. If your purpose is just about you, what's the purpose? Who are you helping?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you transforming?
Yeah.
Who are you uplifting?
Mm-hmm.
Purpose is about who you can reach and teach and help and uplift.
Yeah.
So I think in general, we all have something about us that we want to use to help people.
Yeah.
And I think from a young age, I've always wanted to help people. I've always wanted to be there for people.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to hook people up with money when I had it and they didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to be that type of friend that really supports everyone.
Yeah.
And that's great. The only problem with that was I wasn't coming with my cup full.
Yeah. Yeah. Internally.
Yes. I was giving when internally I was empty.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
that's when you start regretting.
What you give.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
when you start regretting your spirit and your purpose.
Yeah.
When you feel
Because
like
you don't feel like you're getting anything out of this.
exactly,
Uh-huh.
exactly, and we're always getting, but
It's
you got,
perspective.
yeah, we're always getting. We're
Mhm.
here, right? We're breathing,
Right.
but you're not going to appreciate the giver that's inside of you until you realize that you're getting everything that you need at all moments.
Man. So now I want to ask you, what is your relationship with pain? On earth, you know, we all experience pain in one way or another, and we have our perspectives, our perceptions of it, and our perspectives also, I guess. And I want to know, what is your relationship with pain? Does it help? Does it hurt? Do you hate it? Do you love it? How do you feel about it?
That's a really good question. When you think of every anime or superhero movie, whatever, the villain is always driven to where they are by pain.
Mm-hmm.
And they always feel like they didn't deserve it or it wasn't fair. And they're just ready to inflict the same pain that they experience on the world.
Yeah. Whether it be sort of good or bad? Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So pain is something that we have to address before we become the villain in our lives. And most
That was so good. Good.
most of the time, we aren't going to inflict pain on the world.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to inflict more pain on ourselves. That is the reality for most of us.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, my experience with pain was just pain for me was just reaching a moment in my life and looking back and realize that I was always pretending to be someone. I was always positioning myself in order to manipulate people and get what I want. Pain for me was always just like realizing that so many moments pass where I didn't have the confidence to stand up and be myself. Who knows who I would have attracted, what opportunities I would have got if I would have just been myself in middle school, in high school, in college, around this person, around that person.
Yeah.
That for me was pain, just waking up one day and realizing that it's time for me to wake up and I have so much inner work to do. And not knowing where to start, not knowing how to improve myself, not knowing what I needed to work on. That was rock bottom for me. Of course, like at that time I had went through a bad breakup. I had to move back in with my mom's. You know, I just felt really lost at that moment. But pain for me was transformative in a sense that I didn't want to stay in pain for forever.
Right.
It's like I was in rock bottom, but being down there, I was able to look up and see the light. That for me was the turning point in my life. Hitting all the way down bottom, really being depressed, really not loving myself, really not being happy, having those nights where I cried myself to sleep and just feeling complete and utterly lonely and misunderstood and all of these things. Being down there and saying, I don't want to always be like this. I want to transform.
Yeah.
I want to evolve. I want to work on myself. I want to build my body. I want to build my mind. I want to be someone that people look up to. I know that I was down there and I'm still down here, but if I can make it out of here, people will appreciate that. People will admire me from transforming myself. And I just wanted to become better. I just wanted to become better. And that is something that I think everyone needs. Just the energy and the will to wake up every day and say, you know what? Let me be a little bit better today. Let me smile a little bit more. Let me have a little bit more fun. Let me learn more. Let me help more people. And I went from a place of just waking up every day and letting life hit me, and waking up every day and wanting to be great and be something better.
And do you feel like you can be of joy every day? Do you think it's possible?
Yes, yes. Being of joy every day is possible, but I would highly recommend and encourage people to have a routine, to have a process for how they manage their body, how they manage stress, how they manage their responsibilities. Because I can say, yes, it's very possible to wake up every day and be joyful and be happy. But when you have things that you need to take care of
And address.
and you have responsibilities, you have to have some sort of system for making sure that I'm not letting this get to me. I'm not letting this turn my attitude sour. I'm not letting this make me feel like I'm empty, you know?
Now, would you have it any other way? Because I want to go back to pain.
Yes.
How do you? Go ahead. Go ahead.
You mean would I wish for a different path to where I am? No, I wouldn't wish for another path. I wouldn't wish for
Why
another
not?
path. Because when I help people now, I help them. Because I had to get to a place where I needed help, and I had to learn how to help myself before I can truly understand and know how to help other people. So when I speak to someone now, or I'm speaking to a group of students, or I'm speaking at an engagement now, I know when I'm reaching someone. I know when I'm transforming someone because I had to do that for myself. And my path just perfectly prepared me for that.
I think relation is the cornerstone of evolution.
Yes.
You got to be able to relate.
Yes.
And you got to be able to feel. And pain for me is a part of the earth experience. It's so cliche to say, but pain, if you are not in, like, because I think motivational speakers say this the most, but if you're not going towards pain, then you're going away from success. It has to be fun. It almost has to be fun. And how could we get it to a point where it's fun?
Yes.
What sort of awareness do you have to have where you're looking at pain like, bring it on, like this is what I need, or I can't go on? You know, I want to ask you, is that possible? Is that a possible state of awareness where we use pain like it's a damn step, like it's just something else to do or something else that's needed to go where we need to go?
Yes, I do believe it's possible. But you know what this makes me think of? The confusion that is created by living in the society that we live in, based around fake money,
Okay.
based around finances, and everything that we look at in terms of freedom, there's always green tied to it. So that is something that I feel like throws all of us off when it comes to maintaining a state of joy and handling day-to-day pain properly. Like, a lot of us are not working towards what we need to be working towards.
So we have to focus on earning money.
Exactly.
And this is a distraction from this mindset.
Exactly. So it's just like, I want to tell people, man, go 120, wake up every day, grind, push through pain, run to pain, go through it. You want to get through it. Like, I want to motivate people in that way, especially with my life.
Right.
I want to be someone that really just goes hard with my life. I want to be that for sure, but I feel like it's just a lot of confusion when it comes to what are we working towards? Like, because that state of peace and awareness that you're talking about, it doesn't have to be worked for.
Absolutely. The truth does not have to be worked for. That's the gem of this conversation. The state of awareness that needs to be maintained. It's not going to take you it's not going to take you decades and decades to grasp it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to go back to the word maintain. Now, maintaining it is a different task. Still manageable, but it's just it's a switch.
Yes.
It's oh wow, I'm more than my name.
Yes.
So therefore there's more here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got you. Maintain,
Mm-hmm.
manage, all of these things are built around man and the form of man.
Mm-hmm.
Man is always trying to do something. It's
Absolutely.
always trying.
Yes.
And if people read your book,
Mm-hmm.
I think that they learn about formlessness
Absolutely.
in that state of awareness.
Yes. And you really start to, I'm going to say this, and I'll just, hopefully it comes off in the best way possible. It's like when you become I, you realize that it's all you, right? But okay, yeah, it's been said before. But I know that when I leave here, all the cars stopped and started where they needed to go so I can get to, where they were so I can get to where I needed to go. And that sounds like a small example, but you live your life like that. And so that in that example, there was security.
Yes.
That's the main thing. You are secure in you are secure in being the all. And there's a formlessness that comes with it that it's one of those if you know kind of things.
Yes.
If you know, and it is something that you have to feel. You can't touch it. You can't touch it. It's a base of reality. And that's why I said I hope this comes off right, because it's like you're in your, all of this is happening within your body. All of this is happening within this vessel, but you're not limited to this vessel. Your influence is not limited to this vessel.
Yes.
So your influence is making shit happen way over there that in a year from now it'll get here.
Yeah.
But it's because it's the alignment and the awareness of this. It's the awareness of this silver thread throughout life. That is what I is.
Yeah.
And so that's why it doesn't take effort. And that's why when you sit in the seat of it, then you participate in the doing. You are not the doing. You participate in going to the baseball game and watching the people play because it seems fun. It seems like something you want to do with your body, but it's not a task that has to be done.
Yes.
And it's a difference in perspective. Yeah.
And I think that you kind of have to you have to have a relationship with spirit. You have to have a relationship with stillness.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a relationship with being outside of your body,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's through psychedelics, whether
Absolutely.
that's through meditation. You have to have a relationship where you're not with the time that you're not doing anything.
A relationship with the formlessness.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So you can really sit and reflect and really just observe and see, do I really need to be doing this?
Mm-hmm.
What is the impact of this?
Yes.
Because we spend so much time just running around.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if we can sit in that formlessness
Mm-hmm.
more, whatever way we reach that state of mind,
Mm-hmm.
then we can make a lot more impact with our actions and with our creations and our decisions.
Because we're very aware of the consequences that comes from them,
Yes.
or the good things that come from them. You're just aware, and I think isn't that what everybody wants? Doesn't everybody want to be aware, like aware of their actions, actually feeling like, actually feeling like they're in control of their lives. At least it seems that way, you know?
So
Okay.
so when we talk about formlessness, I feel like in this conversation, like I realize who we want to reach and how we want to reach them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do we wake young black boys and black girls up, and what should they be reaching for, and how do they avoid everything that they're being influenced by and just guide them back to themselves?
Okay. So you asked me that actually yesterday pertaining to my book. And because I wrote What Is I for people like me, people that look like me, because I come from this and I want it to be simple for them. Now you asked me, how can we reach them? What is the best path? And as you were talking just now, I realized it is continuing to be me and who I always was, rooted, right? So you see the color of my skin.
Yes.
You even see where we're sitting.
Yes.
We on what? I don't even, York.
East Baltimore.
We're sitting here in East Baltimore. You see the color of my skin. You hear how I talk. I'm not on here talking like, hey, and like, I'm real. And so, back to relation and that being so important.
Yes.
You have to feel comfortable with me. You have to be able to relate to the person that's dishing this out.
Yes.
You have to, and you gotta see me. I gotta be present. I can't be behind a screen. That's how I feel like. Well, at least that's a method. You have to feel me.
Yes.
That's the only way.
And that's something that my art really taught me, is people really enjoy and appreciate my art because it's me in it.
Yeah.
It's most of the time it's self-portraits, or it's most likely going to be a melanated boy or girl or black man or black woman. When I take those images and I create new realities, create new worlds where anything is possible, where we can be and do everything, it hits different for people.
Yeah.
It reaches them in a way that they didn't know they needed to be reached.
Yeah.
It represents them in a way that they haven't really been represented before.
Absolutely.
So my art definitely taught that about me, and it really taught me that. So for me, it's like I'll create the art, and put it out there, and in the process, I'm still healing. I'm still learning. But I know that I'm growing because I'm looking at the comments. I'm looking at the feedback that people are being reached.
Right.
And that kind of relieves some of the confusion around what I'm supposed to be doing here on earth. Like, express yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself. You have to be yourself.
You can't be nothing else.
You have to be yourself, but you also have to express yourself. And look at the feedback. Look at how people are reacting. Look at who you're reaching. Look at who you're helping and what are they saying.
Yeah.
And let that guide you on earth.
Yeah.
Let that guide you.
Yeah.
If you need guidance outside of yourself,
Absolutely.
let your creation, let your expression guide you.
Yeah, because the world will tell you.
Yes.
The world will tell you. The world being you.
Yes.
Your reflections will literally just let you know exactly what you're putting out and how it's being received. And if you do have a mission, you have a certain kind of people or a certain crowd you want to reach, you'll see in the response.
Yes.
It is pretty simple. And yeah, man, I don't know. That's definitely something I'm gonna continue to think about. Is how do I get what we're talking about in this environment that we're sitting in easily without it being seen as weird or off or something that I'm not used to. What is the trick? What is the trick? And I just think it's being ourselves, like who we really are, because who I really am is intertwined with who I've become.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important to not forget who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's one last thing, and then we can end, because this has been of an amazing interview. I didn't think it'd be anything short of this. Amazing and powerful gems dropped here. So I guess maybe two things, and the last thing might not be as important, but give me your favorite. What is the favorite your favorite moment or your favorite part of being on Earth? Thinking about your life, like I said, it could be a moment or just about being here. What stands out to you when I say that? Because and while you're thinking, this is a very amazing place and it is rich and full of so much. We are having this powerful conversation on Earth, and I just want to know, like, what do you enjoy about this place, or what in your life did you enjoy the most?
I'm tearing up just thinking about it because it took me back when I was coming out of depression.
Mm-hmm.
Something I used to do, I would go to this basketball court
Mm-hmm.
and I would lay on the ground, the
Mm-hmm.
concrete.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of the day, I would just lay on the ground and I would just look up in the sky.
Mm-hmm. Try to bring it a little closer to you.
Oh, yeah.
We got this.
I would just lay on the ground and look up in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And I found so much joy and peace and bliss in that.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to get out of everything that I was feeling and everything that was, I was dealing with emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Just that one moment where I could just look up in the sky and see the clouds.
Why did that bring you so much joy, or why did that erase what you were going through, or at least cloud it in a way?
There's beauty in everything,
Mm-hmm.
but when you realize the beauty is in the perspective, just that perspective,
Mm-hmm.
laying down and seeing the world before me,
Mm-hmm.
just standing at that point where I see beauty from every angle.
Mm-hmm.
That was just important to me. And I've experienced that same feeling on multiple psychedelic trips where you are on your journey in that trip and just everything is beautiful.
Yeah.
Everything is meaningful. Everything is a part of you.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling to me is one of the best things about being a human on Earth. Being able to feel that and experience that with our senses. I love that about being a human. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, senses. We wouldn't be shit without it, and we take it for granted. But
Yeah.
senses allow us to be here, and especially if we have all five of them, or at least the normal five, the five that they tell us about. There's nothing like, every time I try to reach for the highest realization of being here, the highest realization of enlightenment, the medicine or myself always tells me it is to enjoy being human.
Yes.
There is nothing more divine to do here than being human. That's why I put at the end of my book, there's no cushions needed. We don't bring up meditation, because it's all a part of just being human. So we don't need to try to make things more special. All of this is a part of it, and it's beautiful. And so, like, I don't know. It was a joy just to hear you single out one moment,
And
one part.
and you know what our relationship really is? Our relationship is balance.
Mm-hmm.
You're the type of person who is so excited by knowledge, information, and enlightenment that at times you reach beyond Earth. And I'm always the one that is not pulling you down, but making sure that you remember what's on Earth to appreciate.
It's not pulling me, it's anchoring me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for me, you're the one that's always inspiring me to reach up a little bit higher.
That's so
and
funny.
experience and enjoy more. And seek more.
Yeah.
So
Because because me having so many experiences where my consciousness has gone beyond my normal human consciousness, it made me appreciate human consciousness. And so, like you said, it's like, I guess in a way I inspire you to come up, and
Yes.
then it's like I want to come down,
Yes.
and we meet right at this middle point called human.
Yes.
So beautiful. I guess the last thing I want to bring up is COVID-19. If there's some words you want to speak on this, on this catastrophe.
Not necessarily on that, but
Okay.
I do want to say something, and I normally wouldn't. But you know why I want to say something? There's this this quote I came up with that I try to look at every day now. If you have time to complain, that means you are not doing enough to create your own reality.
Okay. True.
And with what's going on in society and what's being fed to us through the news and media, it has left a lot of us in a state of confusion,
Yeah.
in a state of fear.
Absolutely.
And it has immobilized us. And I know this because it immobilized me. I didn't even feel like creating and expressing myself because I felt like the world was so wrapped up in what was going on.
And you didn't feel like anybody would care.
Exactly. Exactly. I lost my voice in that moment. And I want people to stand up and start creating their own reality right now.
Yeah.
I have to encourage and empower people to do that because I don't like what's going on. I don't like what they're saying. I don't like this and that. But if I'm not doing anything, if I'm not expressing myself, if I'm not leading, if I'm not influencing, if I'm not being myself, if I'm letting fear immobilize me, how can I complain?
And then your story also won't be told.
Exactly.
The truth won't be told.
Exactly.
We all have our thoughts and theories about what's going on, but if you're not expressing yourself, whether it be going here and doing this or writing down this or whatever, then there's no you. What do I want to say? You miss. Let's say it simply. You miss being you.
Yes.
There's no you here. There's no
Yes.
you here, and we forget how important it is to be us, and how
Exactly.
important what we're saying, how important it is. How important it is, our voice and our perspective on what's happening. It's very important. And so, like you said, like we can talk about this, that, and the third, or what is this, if it's real, if it's not, what are they doing? What are you doing?
Exactly.
What are we doing? What are you doing to do something about what you feel? If you feel something like, yeah, I feel like I'm being redundant, but yeah, if you feel a certain way, take action behind it. If you're not taking action behind it, then it's just a feeling, and you just keep it at that.
Exactly. And for me, that's why I have a vision of my higher self. Higher self to me is always a guide. And when I say higher self, I just mean, what do you see when you see yourself at your highest, at your best, at your strongest, at your most enlightened, at your most powerful? What does that look like?
Yeah.
And when I look at my higher self and I operate from that vision, I'm the architect of realities. I create realities. I transform. I empower. I encourage others to love themselves and heal themselves and empower themselves. I'm important. I'm powerful. And I'm not going to let a pandemic stop me from using my power anymore.
Small stuff.
Yeah.
As the leaves are falling and the sky is getting cloudy, we can end it here. This has been a beautiful, beautiful, not interview, but engagement with just an amazing person, because I'm trying to give you, what title should I give you? He gave himself all the titles, but I'll just say with a word that most black men don't even say anymore, my best friend.
Yeah.
This has been an amazing engagement with my best friend, and I hope that you've learned so much about yourselves, about him, about me, and inspired to be yourself, whatever that is, inspired to come to a baseline of awareness, so the decisions and the actions that you're taking are in alignment with what you actually want to do, and you have no resentment for your decisions and your actions. And just ask yourself, what are you doing today? What are you doing today that makes you happy? Fuck everybody else. Because I feel like everybody was waiting for me to say, like, what are you doing to help everybody else? No. What are you doing today to help you? Because when you help you, you help us all. That has been the conversation on the podcast of Earth today. Peace.
Peace.
All right.